Okay, guys, so let's take a look at some effects that we can do when we're working with text. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some text here and I'm just going to write a word. How about flash? That just looks weird. And I love, but I hate sometimes when I type out a word and it just like doesn't look right. But that is how you spell flash, Flash. It's just in Helvetica Neue. F and L's look really weird next to those really big A's and S's, right? Um, anyway, um, I don't think I want Helvetica Neue. I kind of want like a scripty font. So let's see what I have here to choose from. Brush script, medium, that could possibly work. Um, Yeah, I think that could work. That feels like the whole um, sports team motif that I think I want to play around with right now. And so what I'm gonna do is actually I'm going to write out the Flash as in the superhero because I like the Flash. And um, I did not put a space in between them because this font kind of built one for me automatically. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna click here under the, and I'm gonna increase the kerning probably about 50 points. There we go. That'll work. So I'm gonna go to my appearance panel again. I'm gonna start playing around with that a little bit. So let's go ahead and make a fill. And I don't know. The flash is red, so I'm gonna go ahead and color this in red. And I'm going to give him a stroke of, he's kind of got like a goldish kind of color stroke. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. Kind of a yellow, kind of a goldish stroke. Now this is kind of funky sometimes with these kinds of fonts is the stroke actually like it kind of like goes in two spots. That's because these letters are intended to connect with one another, but they're separate in general. So really, it's a good thing that we know how to go ahead and take these letter forms and drop them behind, or excuse me, those stroke forms and drop it behind, because I think that that really kind of helps this. So, and let's go ahead and let's break it up a little bit. Again, I like white to break it up, and just a little bit like that. And that works out okay. Um, Not perfect, but definitely okay. You'll see some weird spots like where this S and this H are. So that's totally a spot where I want to click there and I'm going to do the option and left arrow, and that's going to just get a little extra kerning. Same here with the E. Okay, and the H, there we go. That's working okay. And I think I want the T and the H here to just be a little tighter to one another too. That's looking good. Okay, cool. So I got the flash, right? That's what it looks like. And I can leave it like that, but the Flash runs really fast. And if anything, he's full of motion. And I want to add some motion to this, which leads me here in my appearance palette to this thing here that says FX. Okay, so these are all these different kind of effects. And there's lots of them, and I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to tell you a couple things. 3D is going to slow down your computer. So only do it if you've got a newer computer. If you got one that's on its last leg, don't do it, okay? Some of these things are really cool. Pathfinders, like we know how all those things, we don't need to mess with them here. SVG filters, these are called scalable vector graphic filters. I don't tend to love them, to be honest with you. Stylize, I've drop shadow, feather, all these different things. A lot of that stuff you're going to learn in Photoshop too. And it tends to look better in Photoshop. So I stay away from it when I'm working with this stuff. But I'm going to go to this thing called Warp, and I'm going to just pick one of these things. I don't know, Arc. All right? And check this out. I want to zoom out a little bit. Actually, I'm going to hit cancel first so we can zoom out so we can see this a little bit more. And I'm going to go back here to Warp and click on Arc. And this window is going to pop open. And it's going to allow me to see what happens here. So I'll say okay to this. And nothing happened. It's because I didn't have that selected. Let's try this one more time. Warp arc. I should have known when I couldn't check that preview box. So anyway, here we are. This is an arc, right? and we can preview it. And what I could do is I could go ahead and I can literally bend this a little bit, okay? And then I could distort it either horizontally or vertically or both, okay? Um, Listen, you get into really like illegible text really fast when you play around with the distortions. So in the beginning, I recommend to just leave them alone and play around with the bend and see what you get. And like this is just kind of gives you that little extra movement you need sometimes. So I'm gonna say okay to this, right? Am I in love? No, not even sorta. And check this out. This is the beauty of working with the appearance palette and working with things like warps and stuff like that. I can save this document and I can close it and I can open up in 5 minutes, in 5 days, or in 5 years, and I'll still be able to access the appearance palette. And best off, I'll be able to go ahead and come right to it, and there's this thing on it that says warp arc, and I'm going to click to edit the effect, and right on the fly I can edit it. That's a wonderful thing. And again, it's still editable. I can type. It's still regular old text at this point. Now, you're like, well, the arc is cool, but like what if there's something else? There's a whole list of options. Okay? And so this is arc lower, and this is arc upper, and this is arch, which is different than an arc, right? And then this is bulge, and this is shell lower, shell upper. There's a bunch. I won't lie. I'm a fan of things like the wave, or excuse me, the flag, and there's one called a wave. Okay, I use those probably more than anything else. These kinds of ones right here. It just puts a little bit of movement in here. I also like this one here, rise. Not so much that way, but in this kind of way. Okay. Now, can you put two of them on at the same time? The answer is yeah, but it's a little complicated. Okay. So I'm going to say okay to this. And let's try. Let's go ahead and let's go to warp, and let's go to, I don't know, arc. And it's going to say, it's going to apply another instance of the effect. So I'll say apply new effect. So now I've got an arc on top of a warp, on top of a rise. And it really does work, because check it out. That's at 0 and the rise is there. So I can arc my rise a little bit. Could I go ahead and rise my rise? Yeah, the answer is yes. And check it out. When I go ahead and I put like a -25 in, it totally like makes it flat, because it's just the opposite of what's happening over here. That's all. So you can, if I'm going to do both, I tend to do like flag or something like that, or wave, just to get a little bit of movement in my rise. That's what I tend to do. But you can do whatever you want, okay? Again, you can distort it. Just realize that it makes it a little hard to read sometimes if you do it kind of poorly. So you have to be aware of that. So anyway, this makes for a really kind of fun effect. And it's super simple to edit. I can just change this to a different color. I can change this to a different color. And I can increase things like my stroke quite easily. And I'm going to add a second fill. And my second fill is going to be something kind of funky. It's going to be a pattern, like pompadour, right? And pompadour is somewhat see-through, so that's why you get that. But I'm going to go to the opacity. I'm going to play around a little bit with the opacity and bring it down a little bit. And so you'll get fun kind of things like this. You'll also get the opportunity to go into libraries. So if I go into patterns again, let's go into basic graphics, and let's go into basic graphic dots, right? And there's a bunch of different ones here. How about we do like that? Okay. And that's kind of cool looking. And if you think about the Flash and old-timey comic book and stuff, let's go ahead and let's make that red again. That's pretty fun, right? And let's make this orange again. The orangey gold that I had before. And again, let's make it bigger. And that's pretty cool. I wonder if we go ahead and we made this red. Let's select it. I can't tell you how many times I look at it and then I come over and I start to edit it, and it says right here in white letters, no selection, and I do it all the time. So you got to make sure you select your object. So let's make this red, And let's make this that kind of goldy color. I don't like that as much, but you still get a fun kind of thing going on here with the fill. And let's take our opacity. We can bring it back up. Or we can send it back down. You can play around with these things here, these blending modes. So you get some options here as we're building stuff. Again, I don't have anything selected, so nothing happened. Again, I just said I do it all the time, and I did it again right in front of you. I hate when I do that. But yeah, so you can experiment for sure and see what you can get out of this, right? So this is just, again, and that's pretty cool looking with the light in like that. I wonder if I increase my opacity. I don't like it with all those white dots, but those light colored dots, yeah, those are cool. And again, check this out. This is cool. Let's say the Flash isn't your guy, right? And you're more of a Wonder Woman fan. Wonder Woman. And there you go. And let's just make this a little bit smaller. Wow, check this out. When I scale it down, it looks normal. But when I let go of it, it's still got that rise in it. Okay? And I think Wonder Woman needs kind of a blue text. I think that works out better for her. Okay? And so this is a way in which we can go ahead and we can get some cool effects utilizing that appearance panel again. All right, so make sure you check it out. And again, experiment in here. There's a lot of fun that you can do. Thank you.